Hello, everyone. Today, we'll take a look at the 2021 American romantic comedy and horror film titled Barbecue. The film begins with a butcher named Vincent selling meat to a customer. While his wife, Sophie, impatiently waits for the transaction to be completed, she shares a strange moment of eye contact with the customer. After Vincent finishes seasoning the meat, he wraps it up and hands it to Sophie. Sophie places it in a bag and gives it to the customer, apologizing for the delay. After the customer leaves, Sophie tells Vincent that it takes him way too long to prepare the orders. Just then, a group of masked vegan activists attacks the couple. They throw blood on them and vandalize the shop before running away. Vincent chases after them and manages to tackle one of them to the ground. After some struggle, he removes the activist's mask. At that moment, the other vegans return to rescue their friend, beat Vincent up, and flee. In the next scene, Sophie is talking to her friend Stefani and crying. While preparing lunch together, Sophie reveals that the bank refused to give her a loan and that they are on the brink of bankruptcy. Stefani tries to cheer her up, but then begins bragging about how much money her husband makes. Stefani and her husband Mark also own a butcher shop, and their business is thriving. While eating lunch, Stefani and Mark continue to boast about how well their shop is doing. After a while, Mark gets up and brings a gift for Vincent, a gun to protect himself from the vegans. Stefani, however, can't resist mentioning how expensive the gun was, once again flaunting their financial stability. Unfortunately, Vincent does not have a gun license. On the way back from lunch, Sophie tells Vincent that she's thinking about leaving him and wants to be with someone who excites her. While driving, Vincent spots one of the vegans who vandalized their shop. Wanting to teach them a lesson, he puts the car in reverse and ends up killing the activist. Vincent panics and insists that he didn't mean to kill them. He considers calling the police, but Sophie stops him. She points out that the unlicensed gun will get him into trouble and adds that if the police find out the victim was a vegan, they might think Vincent killed them intentionally. This could result in a life sentence for him. When Vincent asks what they should do, Sophie suggests mimicking Michel Francois, a criminal known for dismembering his victims and disposing of their body parts in trash bags scattered across the city. Vincent brings the body back to the shop and begins cutting it into pieces. At that moment, one of the man's ears falls to the floor, and Vincent's dog starts eating it. Vincent cuts off the other ear and gives it to the dog as well. He then goes to his room to sleep, but Sophie tells him to sleep on the couch in the living room instead. In the morning, Sophie tries to wake Vincent to open the shop, but Vincent refuses, claiming he hasn't slept. When he finally gets up and goes to the shop, he realizes that the pieces of the dismembered body are gone. Vincent asks Sophie if she's seen the ham. Sophie replies that it's in the slicer. Just then, a regular customer, Mrs. Kanya, comes into the shop. She says that the meat she bought earlier was excellent and that she came back for more, asking for 10 more slices. Vincent tries to convince her to buy something else, but the woman insists she wants the exact same meat. Sophie tells Vincent to give the woman what she wants. Mrs. Kanya smiles and compliments them, saying that the ham has always been good, but today it tastes exceptionally delicious. She asks if they've changed suppliers. Vincent says they have. Sophie then asks to try a piece of the new meat herself. Vincent brings her a slice and Sophie finds it delicious. She asks Vincent where the meat came from, and he fabricates a story, claiming it's imported pork from Iran. He explains that there are illegal pig farms in Iran and that he bought it through a French supplier. After the customer leaves, Vincent confesses to Sophie that what he sold was actually human meat. The dismembered body of the vegan activist he had chopped up to gradually dispose of it as if it were spoiled meat. Vincent tries to throw the remaining meat away, but Sophie stops him. She insists that the meat is too delicious and that selling it is the best way to dispose of the body. Vincent resists, but another customer comes in, asking for the same meat they previously bought. This leads the couple to start selling human meat, marketing it as Iranian pork, and making a lot of money. That night, they take some of the meat home, cook it, and try it themselves. They are blown away by the taste. Sophie suggests they hunt down more radical vegans to use as meat, arguing that this would save their business from bankruptcy. The next day, the couple's daughter brings her boyfriend home. The family prepares a perfect dinner for him, but the boy, Lucas, refuses to eat, stating that he is vegan. Sophie and Vincent are surprised and turn to their daughter, asking her to eat. However, their daughter reveals that, out of respect for Lucas, she has also stopped eating meat. The couple offers them drinks and cake instead, but Lucas declines, pointing out that the cake is made with eggs and the drink is not vegan. The couple realizes that all their preparations for the family dinner have been wasted. Before leaving, Lucas insults Sophie, saying that old cows like her are cruelly slaughtered by meat eaters. This deeply angers the couple. Vincent finally agrees to Sophie's plan to hunt vegans. That night, Vincent targets a chubby vegan restaurant owner and attempts to attack him, but loses his nerve midway and abandons the plan. He gets back into the car and drives home. In the car, Sophie expresses her frustration, saying she is scared because Vincent doesn't seem to have a proper plan. They decide to infiltrate the vegan community to find a new target, pretending to be against meat eaters. A skinny man approaches them, praising their stance. They strike up a conversation and make plans to meet with him later. When the time comes, the couple waits for the vegan in their car. However, when the vegan shows up, he brings some friends along, forcing the couple to abort their plan. The vegans suggest raiding a meat processing facility, and the couple, maintaining their cover, agrees to join them. Upon arriving at the facility, the couple realizes it belongs to their friends, Mark and Stefani. Despite this, they participate in vandalizing the facility alongside the vegans. Afterward, the couple goes to a restaurant for a meal. While discussing their plans to hunt victims, they get into an argument. In a fit of anger, Vincent storms off. While sitting alone, Sophie is approached by a waiter who flirts with her. Later, he offers to drive her home. When Sophie learns that he is a vegan, she continues to flirt with him and invites him inside. After they enter the house, she tells Vincent that she kissed the man. Furious, but initially unwilling to kill him, Vincent tries to send the man away. However, upon realizing that the man plans to go much further with Sophie, Vincent loses control and kills him. The couple cleans up the mess and disposes of the body. The next day, Stefani calls Sophie to inform her about the damage at the facility. When the couple arrives at the scene, they see Mark talking to a police officer investigating the incident. Amidst the chaos, the officer pulls Vincent aside and asks if he has more of the Iranian pork. Vincent says yes. Later that day, the couple continues selling the Iranian pork, with a long line of customers, eagerly waiting for it. The meat sells out quickly, and people refuse to buy anything else. Realizing the demand, the couple decides to make hunting vegans a regular practice. That night, they target the restaurant owner they initially set their sights on and eliminate him. From then on, they begin committing murders daily, increasing their meat supply and reaping significant profits. During their next lunch with Mark and Stefani, the couple brings some Iranian pork for their friends to try. Both Mark and Stefani fall in love with the taste. However, as Stefani eats, she finds something unusual in her food: a pacemaker. Being a former nurse, she immediately recognizes what it is. Vincent manages to defuse the situation, but tension arises between the couples, leading to a heated argument about their businesses. The argument escalates into a physical fight, with Mark and Vincent trying to hurt each other. During the brawl, Vincent bites Mark's ear off and starts chewing it. Blood drips from the ear as Mark stares at Vincent in complete shock. To avoid suspicion, Vincent pretends to be disgusted and spits the ear out. Afterward, the couple leaves and resumes their hunting. Over time, they amass a considerable fortune. The thrill of hunting and the time they spend together strengthens their relationship. Whenever Vincent brings up the moral wrongness of their actions, Sophie changes the subject. While having a picnic in the forest, a vegan approaches the couple and tells them they've taken the yoga spot. The couple pretends to leave, but later returns with a shotgun and kills the vegan. Later, Sophie and Vincent attend a vegan festival to scout for new victims. Vincent's eyes fixate on a small, chubby child, and he cannot look away. Realizing he has fully become a cannibal, Vincent feels uneasy and tries to leave. However, the couple is spotted by Lucas and their daughter. Lucas is shocked to see a butcher at a vegan festival. During the conversation, Lucas brings up the topic of the missing vegans and directs all his anger at the couple, loudly declaring that they are butchers before storming off. This interaction is overheard by a vegan who frequently visits Mark and Stefani's house. As Vincent and Sophie leave the festival, they see a plump woman outside and attack her. That night, as Vincent is cutting her up, his butcher knife breaks. He goes to the front of the shop to get another knife. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door, startling him. When he answers, he finds the police officer, now a regular customer. Vincent invites the officer inside, who explains he saw the lights on and decided to check. Vincent assures him everything is fine and that they're out of the Iranian pork. The officer continues chatting and brings up the missing vegans. At that moment, their dog enters the room with a human hand in its mouth. Panicking, Vincent yells at the dog to leave and manages to make up an excuse, salvaging the situation. After the officer leaves, Vincent becomes paranoid. Feeling the officer suspects him, he tells Sophie, but she reassures him that they've disposed of all the bodies and left no evidence. Vincent mentions he's disposed of their latest victim's meat by scattering it in trash bags around the city. Vincent is increasingly terrified of getting caught and wants to stop, but Sophie insists they're fine and tells him to stop panicking. Deeply disturbed by their actions, Vincent refuses to continue. While they're arguing, there's a knock at the door. It's Lucas. Lucas apologizes for his earlier behavior, explaining he's been stressed about his friend's disappearances. Sophie comforts him, subtly hinting to Vincent that Lucas should be their next victim. However, unwilling to kill anymore, Vincent walks Lucas to the door and sends him away. He then tells Sophie that the Iranian pork business is over, and that he won't continue this madness. The next day, Vincent tells customers that the Iranian farmer has retired. Disappointed, the customers leave without buying anything. Sophie starts arguing again, but Vincent storms out of the shop. The vegan group they had betrayed during the attack on Mark's facility shows up at their shop, seeking revenge. Sophie tries to send them away, but they don't listen. Outside, Vincent notices the vegan group's van and realizes something is wrong. As the vegans attempt to kill Sophie, Vincent intervenes. A brutal fight ensues, with excessive bloodshed, but the couple ultimately triumphs over the vegans. The story concludes with the couple being arrested after claiming 30 victims. It's revealed that Mark and Stephanie were the ones who reported Vincent's strange behavior to the authorities. The couple is sentenced to life in prison. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more.